Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to be doing a past life reading. I'm going to be tapping into the Akashic records to help you guys determine here what was your most significant past life, who were you, what happened, any significant information that you need to know about this past life that may help you in this one. So we're going to be getting pretty in depth here. I have 3 piles that I have pulled for you guys here. So pile number 1 will correspond to the opalite crystal. Pile number 2 is going to be the Himalayan salt crystal. And then pile number 3 is going to be the lapis lazuli crystal. So take a moment, close your eyes if you need to, take a deep breath, and then go ahead and select the pile here, or the card that most calls to you intuitively. Don't think about it too much. Just go to the one that you feel has a message for you. And I'll give you guys a few moments and then we'll get into the reading. It's going to be a good one today. All right, so hopefully you guys have selected your pile. Timestamps will be in the description box below, and I will see you in your reading. See ya. Hey, pile 1, if you have chosen the opalite crystal, then this is going to be your reading. So your first card here is the fairy. This is actually a card that I made myself here. So light attributes of the fairy here, we have friendliness, flirtatious, upbeat energy, and ethereal nature. And then shadow attributes here are conniving, trickster, taking advantage, and superficial. So we'll start with this one. I'm gonna go ahead and place it up here. I'm going to be pulling a couple different oracle cards for you guys, and then we'll get into the tarot portion to get a couple or some more details about who you were in a past life or what you need to know. And this is going to be your most significant past life. So most of us have had many, many past lives here. I'm not going to be tapping into everything. I would be sitting here for hours. But we're just going to take a look at your most significant one, because there is probably a lot of information that you would need to know there, and a lot of particular traits and traumas that have carried over into this current lifetime. Okay, so pile number 1, please. Who were they in their most significant past life? What can you tell us about pile number 1's most significant past life? I feel like we have 2 for you. So we have the scribe or writer, and then we have trees. Ooh, okay. Very, very cool. For some of you guys, you could have literally been like a tree. You could have been a nature spirit. You could have been a fairy or something along those lines there, but we'll get into it. Or maybe you were a journalist, someone who spent a lot of time in nature. All right. Pile number 1, please. What can you tell us about their most significant past life? We have bad health. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and pull one more oracle card for you guys here. All right. So pile number 1, what can you tell us about their most significant past life? Who were they in their most significant past life? We have Black Moon Lilith with mystery. Okay. Looks like we're getting deep today. There's a couple different energies here. So give me a moment to try to piece these all together. Okay. Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm gonna move that up a little bit. Yeah, I'm probably gonna need more room for my tarot cards. All right, so the energy that I'm getting here, if you have not resonated with the nature spirit or being in nature here, some of you guys could have been a nurse. With this bad health card, I am definitely gravitating towards the nurse in this image. When we have Black Moon Lilith with mystery, I feel like with mystery and then scribe or writer showing up here, it's almost like you could have been a nurse practitioner or someone who took care of other people, someone who was very nurturing, very caretaking to others. Maybe you helped to, you were some sort of healer, definitely, or some sort of nurse here, but I feel like you had dreams to become a writer. You had dreams to maybe tell your story about your life. Or maybe you were really good at coming up with stories. Maybe you were very tapped into spirit. I'm feeling with the fairy energy here, ethereal nature. I feel like you guys were very comfortable being outdoors, very comfortable spending time alone, spending time in nature. And I feel like nature really inspired you. So I'm almost getting this energy of like there was this aspect of yourself that no one really knew, no one understood, and you kept it to yourself. You kept it under wraps, and maybe you wrote about it. I'm hearing pseudonym. So some of you guys may have tried to publish work under a pseudonym, especially if you were a woman. I know that back in the day, women were not given as many rights as men had. So sometimes women who wanted to pursue a career or who wanted to become an author, they had to go under a pseudonym that hid their true identity. So maybe you did something like that. But there's definitely an energy here of you showing one aspect of yourself to the world because maybe you had to survive that way. Maybe this is the way you made money. But there's definitely another side to you that is very ethereal, very mysterious, very possibly even dark. You could have been through a lot that you liked to write about. I'm almost just getting this energy of, I don't know if you guys know who Emily Bronte is. She was an author. She published Wuthering Heights. I believe it was her only novel. I could be wrong, but I think it was her only novel. And her life story was very tragic. So I'm almost getting an energy of like her here, where maybe you guys always strived to live a better life. You had dreams to get out of your hometown, but you never made it. Or maybe you had this very all-encompassing love that you had with somebody, but they were ripped away from you. And you had to, it's like you guys were trapped in a figment of your own imagination, or you guys were, it's like you guys lived a life in your mind that you could never achieve. And it feels very depressing. That's why I feel like this could really be relating to Emily Bronte's tale, Wuthering Heights. If you guys haven't read that book, or if you guys don't know too much about her history, if you feel drawn to it, I would look into it, because this is the heavy energy that I'm getting here of someone who lived an unfulfilled life, someone who didn't really experience all the things that they wanted to experience. Yeah, I just feel like there's this energy of you guys. It's like you took care of other people. I feel like you were very social, definitely. Very talkative. You liked to help people. But I feel like when you were alone, there was another aspect of yourself that came out. And I feel like a lot of you guys could have struggled with mental health, like on the low. Maybe you didn't really talk about this. You definitely had an intensity to you. You had an intensity that you carried with you. I'm feeling that some of you may have actually passed away very young in this lifetime. I feel like many of you were definitely a female in this lifetime is what I'm getting. So even if you're a guy now watching my channel, we could have been, like you could have been a female in another life. I know I myself have been a masculine many, many times in past lives. So this means nothing about who you are now per se, because we're kind of just in a body right now. We are in a physical vessel that allows us to experience life. But I feel like in this lifetime, you were definitely a woman. I feel like I'm getting this energy where people thought that you were so, maybe you did carry a naive energy. I'm picking up like a Piscean Scorpio energy here, but it's almost like people didn't really understand the depth of who you were. Yeah, it's like you carried a consciousness that no one in your lifetime could relate to, or no one in your hometown could relate to. I'm heavily picking up like a Wuthering Heights type of story. Wuthering Heights is actually based loosely on Emily Bronte's personal life. So I would definitely look into that. It basically talks about her falling in love with this all-encompassing, very mysterious, dark man. There were a lot of aspects to him that didn't really coincide with who she was as a person. I forgot who the main person in the book is. I haven't read it since high school. But it's almost like, it's like the Beauty and the Beast, you know, like the beauty fell in love with the beast, but it's like she could never have him. And then it carried throughout her whole life. And then she ended up passing away very young, and she was very unfulfilled. So there's something here about you definitely feeling unfulfilled, because it's like you can't relate to the people around you because maybe you were at a higher consciousness level, or maybe no one really understood your wishes and dreams, or no one really understood who you were, honestly, is what I'm getting. So if you feel like in this lifetime that you carry like this energy of feeling unfulfilled, you carry this energy of feeling like you're always taking care of other people, but then when it comes to your own energies, you have to be alone in order to recharge. You feel like no one understands you. I feel like it definitely comes from this lifetime. A lot of you I'm picking up, you still have a very strong connection to nature, nature spirits. The fae, I feel like, are with you. So like gnomes, fairies, trolls, any ethereal creatures like that. And I also feel that some of you, even in this lifetime, you could be a nurse. You could work in the medical field. You could be some sort of counselor or therapist, or you are very service driven. So it's like you still have carried these qualities into this current lifetime. And I feel like a lot of the dormant talents that you guys have are being a writer. So I feel like a lot of you guys are very good at speaking, very good at writing, maybe coming up with stories. You're very good at thinking about like metaphors to talk about your life is what I'm getting. Like you'll find an easy way to sort of explain things where, yeah, it's almost like you use a metaphor to explain your life, where you don't necessarily directly like outright say, oh, like this is what's going on in my life, but you have a way to make it into poetry or something like that. Maybe you're good at songwriting. But there's definitely something here about you being very talented when it comes to speaking, singing, writing. Maybe you guys have even published a book already, or maybe you've been thinking about it. But I definitely feel that you are very, very tapped into nature. And I do feel here that the nature spirits, they feel your intuition. They give you these ideas, or they ground you with the energy in order to bring something to life here. So I really do feel like you guys carry some sort of talent here with that, like with writing, speaking. You're very intuitive, very service driven. I feel like in this lifetime, you could be like a Gemini, a Virgo, Pisces is what I'm getting, this type of energy. You don't have to be, but that's just what I'm picking up on. So I'm going to go ahead and get into the tarot portion for you guys to see any other details that we can get from this. We'll start with 3 cards for now, and then if I need more, I'll get into more, but let's see what comes through. Angels and spirit guides, what can you tell me, please, about pile number 1's most significant past life here? Yeah, we have the moon. This is exactly like what I'm talking about. Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, one more card, please. Who were they in a past life, their most significant life? Queen of Cups. Definitely. Back of the deck, we have the Creatrix, which is the magician in this deck. With the moon being under the scribe or writer, this is once again giving me that impression that maybe you published a lot, or you had a lot of journals. You journaled a lot. Like you wrote a lot about your life. Maybe you had a diary or many diaries. And I feel like you could have done a lot of literary works that you never published, or there was a lot that you wrote about that no one ever got to see, no one ever understood. You kept a lot of your personal life and your emotional life private. It's almost like I'm getting someone who has a very dark and mysterious and painful internal life that no one gets to see. So then this is what inspired you to sort of write about it. But I feel like your emotions were a very dark place for you, and I feel like you felt that you were alone. When we have the Queen of Pentacles under the trees, yeah, this is definitely, notice how we have some more forest life in this card. We have a woman standing in the forest. There's plants and vines growing on her even. She has antlers. We have some bunnies down here. So some of you guys could be Taurus placements as well. I think I said Virgo already, yeah. So I'm getting heavy like Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Taurus energy here. So you definitely have a very strong connection to the earth and to source. I feel that you feel your most inspired and your most intuitive when you are spending time in nature. And I feel like with the Queen of Cups being underneath the bad health here, it's like, notice how this Queen of Cups doesn't have a head, but she has a moon. So some of you guys, maybe in a past life, you could have been a Cancer. Maybe you're currently a Cancer placement, or you have Cancer in your chart. But I feel like you gave a lot of yourself to other people. You were definitely a nurse or some sort of practitioner, someone who helped other people. But I feel like it was at the detriment to your own mental health. It's like maybe you surrounded yourself with trying to take care of a lot of people, or maybe you had no choice. Back then, we didn't really have as much free will as we do now, especially if you were a woman. So I feel like you guys gave a lot of yourselves to other people, and you didn't really have enough left for, let's say, like a loving relationship or to nurture yourself. So you put all the rest of what you had into your writing or into your art. But it's definitely, I'm picking up someone here who owned like multiple diaries, multiple journals, like they had a bookshelf. Maybe you guys loved to read. You guys were so smart, so intuitive. But I feel like as a result of the circumstances of your life in this lifetime, you were not able to actually do anything with it. I'm getting this energy of someone who lived in a very small town. Like Wuthering Heights just keeps popping into my life. So if you haven't read that book, I would definitely read it, and then read up on Emily Bronte's life. She passed away very young, very tragic. She was very, very intelligent, and she had such a profound depth of consciousness that unfortunately not many people got to see until she passed away. And I feel like this is kind of something that you guys had to go through. I feel like with the Magician being at the bottom here, yeah, Magician, Knight of Cups, it's like maybe at night you guys would spend a lot of time outside. Maybe you liked to go for walks under the full moon, or maybe you liked to gather water from the lake that was near where you lived. But I feel like you guys would try to manifest this life for yourselves. You would try to manifest something greater for yourself because you felt very unfulfilled emotionally. But I'm not sure if you guys ever got to see this in this lifetime. Hopefully this doesn't get too dark here, but how did this lifetime end for my pile number ones? How did this lifetime end? Judgment. 3 of Wands. And the King of Swords. Bottom of the deck here we have the Knight of Swords. Okay. For some of you, I'm getting a very specific message here that maybe you were betrothed to someone, like an arranged marriage or something, but you didn't want to marry this person, so you actually escaped. But I feel like you passed away during the process. It's like you left, but you didn't really know how to take care of yourself, or you kind of just took that chance and you ended up like passing away somewhere. For others of you, I feel like, yeah, I'm just getting this energy of escape. So if there wasn't like some sort of masculine involved here, it could have been a father figure. I feel like you were very much controlled. There was someone here in your lifetime who liked to control you. I definitely feel this energy of like an arranged marriage, or maybe you were married for some of you and it was very abusive, so you decided to leave, but I feel like you ended up passing away alone, or you ended up like dying just wishing for a better life that you never got to see, which is very sad. I'm hearing that your faith carried you to the end. I literally heard your faith carried you to the end. So I don't think you passed away feeling like you were afraid, or you didn't know where you were going. I feel like you knew what you wanted and this wasn't it. And you were not necessarily happy to go, but you were accepting of the circumstances, because I feel like you made your peace with God. You made your peace with the universe because you were very tapped in. But I'm still getting this energy of you passing away very young, definitely under the age of like 30. I don't think you guys made it past like 30, 35 in this lifetime, if I'm being completely honest. It's almost like some of you guys were on the run. Maybe you guys were very likable, because we do have the friendly card here, or the fairy, friendly, flirtatious, upbeat energy. I feel like a lot of people wanted to pursue you. You could have had many suitors, but maybe they were not what you were looking for, so you were like fuck this, and you just left your hometown. You escaped. But I feel like you were very likable as a person. You were very intelligent. You could have been very beautiful. I'm getting like a very like simple, ethereal type of beauty, like a woman who doesn't really like wearing a lot of makeup, someone who's naturally beautiful, very like health driven, like someone who took care of their health. So I feel like you were in good shape, definitely. And I feel like people really admired you, but it was people who were after what you had. It's like people who were very controlling, people who didn't really appreciate you as a person. So unfortunately, I don't really feel like you were ever seen for who you truly are in this lifetime. And I feel like these themes could carry over into the current lifetime, where sometimes you might get yourself into abusive relationships or connections with people who don't really see you for who you are at your core. And if you guys feel like you ever have this energy of like escapism, it could definitely come from this lifetime as well. So, okay, I'm hearing that that's it for now. I feel like I'm not supposed to go any further into that. So I'm going to end this reading off here with, what is this? Oh, here we go. So I'm going to pull one card from the Beyond Lemuria deck here. I love these cards. I feel like they're very profound. And I'm going to read the message that corresponds in the book for you guys for this card as well. I'm also hearing, actually I picked it up earlier, I just forgot to say it because I lost my train of thought and I was channeling a lot there, but I feel like you guys had a very like robust sexual nature that was like diminished or controlled. It's like maybe you had a very imaginative, like, sexual life in your mind that you never got to experience. I'm picking up that maybe you carried a lot of sexual energy too. Some of you may have died a virgin in this lifetime, or if you did experience sexual encounters with others, I don't feel like they were very fulfilling. So that may also be something that you struggle with in this lifetime. I'm getting the message again to tell you guys to read Wuthering Heights or to read about Emily Bronte's life. So I feel like that is going to tell you a lot about maybe what you may have experienced in this lifetime. So can we please get a closing message for pile number 1, please, about their most significant past life here or anything else they need to know. Here we go. Okay, so we have radical expansion. Very nice. We see a dragon here. We see a woman standing on top of a mountain with her heart space open. It almost looks like the dragon is coming out of her heart. So let's see what the card has to say here. Got number 40. Okay. All right, so radical expansion. Living and loving at full capacity, being unapologetically you, self-expression, boldness, having a voice, taking up space, expansion, empowerment, owning your true power, being visible in the world, having fun with your magnificence, letting go of judgment, creative exploration, radical ways of being. Yeah, exactly. It's like your sexual nature was repressed. Your intuitive nature may have, like, people may have tried to repress it, but you kept it alive in whatever you wrote or whatever creative endeavors you had. And I feel like when it says here, like, self-expression, living at full capacity, having a voice, maybe you never had a chance to stand up for yourself because of the oppression that you were under. Some of you definitely could have had a very oppressive father figure, or, like I said, just these suitors that you had, very toxic men. Maybe you were married and it was very toxic, who knows. But I feel like you learned to not stand up for yourself, and you had this voice inside you that was quelled and never really got to express itself. So now this is something you are starting to realize in this lifetime. So yeah, let's go ahead and read this here. What would it be like to live, love, and feel at full capacity? Do you imagine what it would be like? This card is about being truly and unapologetically you. The gifts you think are too bold for this world and those heartfelt experiences you believe you should hold back on might just light someone up. The physical self-expression that you dull down so you fit in, and those dreams that seem too vast could be precisely what the world is waiting for. Do you feel you have the right to take up space? Our auras can expand manifold, but we often choose to keep them tight to our bodies, maybe for safety. But what is this construct in which we have imprisoned ourselves? Where does this subtle or not so subtle shame come from? Why not dance our most beautiful dance, dress in a way that makes us feel magnificent, and sing so our voices are heard? Considering the paradigm of our judgment in others can help us expand into authentic expression. We may not be aware of the thoughts that were imprinted in us from a young age through our parents, teachers, society, and the media. Separation and limitation begin with your beliefs around what is acceptable and what is not. Connection and possibility come through owning your power and embracing your responsibility to be more visible in the world, to not shy away from life. It is time for radical ways of being and thinking, and you can start by granting yourself the freedom and creativity to be you. Having a voice is essential for power to shift back to individuals and communities outside of prescribed normality. It is time to unleash your inner rainbow dragon and unapologetically claim your heart-based empowerment and radiantly unconventional gifts, and to have fun with it. Yeah, so once again, it's bringing up this theme of you not feeling safe to express yourself. So maybe in this current lifetime, you guys still feel like, oh, someone's out to get me, or someone's going to shut me down, or someone's going to expose me or something. But time has evolved, and for the most part, we are generally speaking more safe now in this day and age to truly express ourselves, unless, of course, you're living in a very toxic situation. But I feel like this is trying to tell you to not be afraid to speak up, to not be afraid to share what you know and the gifts that you have, because I feel like you guys are very knowledgeable. So we have one more paragraph here. It is time for expansion. You can be as big as your energy wants to be. Stop and consider anything that is holding you back. This card is the permission slip that allows you to let go of limiting stories and take up all the space that you need. Have fun unleashing who you are. As bold and radical as some of your ideas or offerings might be, who is to say that they are not what the world is waiting for, what the world wants? Take note of any judgment of authentic expression toward yourself or others. Be mindful that creatively exploring unrefined expression may be what it is needed right now, or what is needed right now. Remember to center yourself in your heart and be the masterpiece your soul always wanted you to be. So I'm getting the message here that in this lifetime, you guys might actually now be able to pursue that the Magician Knight of Cups energy that we felt earlier in the reading. It's almost like you guys wanted to be in a place where you could freely and truly express yourself and use your talents to the best of your capabilities, and I feel like now you do. So this is your sign. And I'm being called to end it here. So I hope I was able to connect with you in this reading, and I will see you in my next reading for you. Bye. Hey Pile 2, if you guys have chosen the Himalayan Salt Crystal, this is going to be your reading. So, okay. First card we have here is the Lover in reverse. I'm going to flip it upright for now, but I'll remember that. So, light attributes, we have great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. The shadow attributes, which are highlighted since the card came out in reverse here, we have obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. Okay. Okay. Make sure you guys can see this. So I'm going to be pulling a couple different oracle cards for you guys so we can get some more details, and then we will get into the tarot portion after that. So pile number 2, please. Their most significant past life. What can you tell us, please? Who were they? Any significant information here? Who were they in their most significant past life? Thank you. All right, so we have lessons and blessings. So what can you tell me about my pile number 2's most significant past life? All right, so I feel like we have 2 for you guys. We have toil and labor, and then we have official person. All right. And I'm going to pull one more for you guys. I'm getting this message here that I feel like whoever I am connecting with, I feel like you were a woman in this past life, but let me just make sure. Pile number 2, what can you tell me about their most significant past life, please? Thank you. Yeah, 7th house partner. So that definitely confirms what I was about to say here. So I feel like you guys, in this lifetime, you were a woman, a very young woman, very beautiful woman who was married to an official person who was a male here, a masculine. This person could have been I'm hearing like, what are they called? Like the generals, the war generals that lead the army. They could have been a king. They were definitely someone very, very wealthy. So I'm definitely getting a king or like a general of the war, someone who was in charge here of like a town. Yeah, if I get anything else specific, I'll let you guys know, but those are the 2 main titles that I'm getting for this person. And I do feel like this person was older than you. And I feel like you could have had like an arranged marriage to this person, or maybe you were very naive at the time and you ended up partnering up with them because maybe they had a lot of money, or maybe they had a lot of influence and maybe your parents wanted you to be with them, or maybe you just fell in love with them, or who knows what happened here. But I definitely feel like you were a woman. Very passionate here, and I feel like you entered this connection with this official person, this man who ended up either deceiving you or turning on you in some way, for some of you. And I feel like it's like you went into the marriage thinking it was going to go one way, but then it turned out a totally different way. Maybe this person was abusive, and I feel like this person may have had you living in conditions where you had to really work for a lot. You had to struggle for a lot of the things that you had. And for others of you, I'm getting this story here. Please keep in mind that these are general. So I'm getting a lot of different channeled messages. I'm going to try to encompass them all into one timeline here, but it's not going to resonate for everybody. I feel like for others of you, you guys actually were probably a like a poor person living in this time. Maybe you lived, I feel like maybe you could have lived in a factory, or not lived, but you worked in a factory where you sewed garments, or maybe you did a lot of hard work in the factories here. I'm picking up a very, very young girl who started working. I'm hearing the age of 12. Could have been younger, but maybe around the age of 12 you started working in a factory with your hands. So I'm getting something here about like embroidery or knitting or stitching or putting garments together, sewing things together. This was something you were very good at. And I feel like maybe for others of you, this man could have rescued you from this situation. But I feel like whatever you went through in this lifetime, it was supposed to teach you something about the partners that you choose. It was supposed to teach you something about, I feel like you guys were a little bit naive here, where you saw, obviously you saw this official person, you saw this rich, wealthy man, this older man who came to rescue you in a sense. And you threw yourself at him, and you were very obsessed with this person. But I feel like there's something about this person, I don't know, something seems off about this person. So I'm going to get into the tarot portion here so we can pick up anything or any other details that we might need to know, because it's almost like I'm getting an energy here of you being either deceived by someone and ending up in a marriage where you were trapped, or others of you were rescued by this person. So it's like I'm getting both. But either way, I do feel like there was a very, very large age gap between you and this person. Okay, so one more shuffle here. Spirit guides, what can you tell us please about my pile number 2's most significant past life here? What can you tell us? Hierophant, yeah, definitely a marriage here that taught you something about yourself. And then we have the 3 of Wands. We have the Knight of Pentacles. Bottom of the deck here we have the 7 of Swords. Yeah, this is exactly the energy that I'm feeling. Just need to make sure you guys can see this. It's a little crooked, but we'll make it work. Okay, so as I was saying, 7 of Swords. There's something about this person or this marriage that you jumped into that ended up not being what you thought it was going to be. And I feel like this was supposed to teach you a lesson about trust, and teaching you a lesson about your own naivety, and teaching you about not necessarily jumping to the first opportunity that comes to you. Or maybe it's teaching you something here. We have 7th house partners, about maybe not settling for something superficial, or not being tricked into something, maybe because someone has status or money. So maybe like in this current lifetime, I heard gold diggers. I hope you guys are not gold diggers, but I feel like there could be an aspect of you where you tend to easily fall for men or women who have a very large status, or they're very affluent, or they have a lot of money. And I feel like this comes from this past lifetime here, but I feel like you carry this energy within you where it's like, you know not to trust the first thing you see. You know not to trust what you see on the surface, because there's more underneath the surface. And with the Hierophant showing up under lessons and blessings, 3 of Wands under toil and labor, it's like you hopelessly jumped into this situation, right? Obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. You were so devoted to this situation. I'm going to put it back in reverse. You were so devoted to this situation that it's almost like you completely lost yourself. And I feel like you ended up getting yourself caught up in a life here where you had to, it's like you were trapped. You had to work for a living. Or maybe this official person, for some of you, this could have been your father, I'm hearing, and they were very oppressive towards you as a woman or as a young woman, and they made you work a lot. Or maybe you had to, yeah, it's like you had to fight a lot for what you had. And I feel like with the 3 of Wands showing up under toil and labor, you guys would daydream a lot about a better life. You guys wanted to escape, which is probably what led you to coming into this marriage with this person. I'm hearing for some of you that your father selected this person for you. Maybe this was a friend of your father's. which is kind of gross because I'm getting an energy here of like a young teenager or like someone between the ages of like 15 and 19 marrying this older man, like a middle-aged man. Yeah, so a lot of you guys I'm hearing right now in this current lifetime, maybe you have Scorpio Capricorn placements. I'm also picking up that you are very drawn to older men, that you don't like men who are your age. You like the mature looking men, or you like men who have a lot of money, who have a lot of status. But be very careful with that, because I feel like it's a very superficial way to be, because sometimes you can see something that someone has on the surface and you're like, oh yeah, like this person's great, this person is the one, but we have the Seven of Swords here. She's wearing a mask. It's like, what are they hiding behind that facade? I kind of want to tap into this official person a little bit. What can you tell us about this official person? What can you tell us about this official person, please? We have the Sun. We have the Three of Cups. Oh, I see. We have the Two of Cups. Okay, I see. I see. Five of Cups. This person, they had many partners. They had many women. And I feel like you were one of many. And I think you caught onto this. Five of Cups. Yeah, Queen of Swords, Lovers. It's like you were able to see through the facade of the fact that maybe at first when you jumped into this connection with this man, you were like, oh, like this man loves me. He's going to save me from this life. He's so rich. He's famous, or he's very wealthy, whatever. But it's like you came to the conclusion here, Queen of Swords, Five of Cups. I feel like this situation matured you. I feel like you noticed how much of a flirt that this man was. So, okay, hold on a second. I heard laying down with the devil. So I feel like, yeah, it's like you guys ended up being with a man who was very open with his partners. He had many, many partners. Five of Cups, Queen of Swords. I don't know why this is coming through. Like, I don't know if this is a stupid thing to say, but I don't know if like sexually transmitted diseases were the same as they are now back then, or whatever time period this was. But I feel like some of you guys could have contracted something from this person, in which you found out that this person was cheating on you or something like that. But I'm just getting the strong energy of like you being so in love with someone here. We have a lot of Leo energy too. This person could have been a Leo. We have this energy of you totally falling in love with someone here, but not seeing who they are underneath the surface. And then like the whole time they have multiple partners, they have maybe multiple children, they're constantly cheating on you. And it's like it turned you into this Queen of Swords energy. It turned you into a very strong person, and you had to go through a lot of emotional turmoil here, lessons and blessings. You had to go through a lot of emotional trauma that involved other partners, other people, other women. So I'm picking up that for some of you, you guys might have this demeanor in this current lifetime where you have a hard time getting along with women. It's very hard for you to trust women. For some of you, this could be like having a tough relationship with your mother. I feel like in this lifetime, maybe your mother passed very young, or she just wasn't around. It's like you lived with your father, definitely. Or you lived alone somewhere. You were a poor worker, and then this person came and either like asked for your hand in marriage and you said yes, or your father brought this man to you and said, this is the man you're gonna marry, whatever. But it taught you a lot about relationships in general. And I feel like it's like you went into this connection. Here, let me pull this card up again. It's like you went into this marriage very naive, very open, great passion and devotion. You were so in love. You were so vital. I'm picking up a lot of vitality. And then by the end of it, Five of Cups, you had a lot of emotional turmoil. You could have been very depressed. This person could have pulled a lot of energy out of you. And I feel like it's because they were not faithful. Or there was something else that they were hiding. What else can you tell us about this official person? I feel like there's something else about this official person. King of Cups. Creatrix. Okay, yeah, I mean, I'm just hearing Womanizer now by Britney Spears, so this could have been really what it was. Maybe he just didn't really... I mean, what man back then wanted to, right? We see a lot of the same characteristics in people these days. But I really just feel like you ended up being with someone who was unfaithful, who had many suitors, many women, many partners, and this really hurt you. So I feel like in this lifetime, you might have a tendency to get yourself caught up into situations where you idealize a partner, or you go for someone who's older thinking that they're going to be a better choice. but the entire time they play you, or they end up cheating on you, or it's not what you thought it would be, and then you end up feeling like you're caught up in a life that you can't get out of. How did this lifetime end for my pile number 2? How did this lifetime end? 2 of Pentacles, 10 of Swords, 9 of Pentacles. We have the 7 of Wands here at the bottom of the deck. 10 of Wands. Okay, so what I'm getting for some of you is that you actually were able to free yourself from this situation. It's like you were hurt one too many times and you finally decided to take power into your own hands, and you were actually able to mature into this woman who was able to take care of herself. I'm not getting too many details about what you did with your life after that, but I do feel that you were very apprehensive after this. It's like before this entire situation, you were very naive, very open, very like, yes, I love the world, I love everybody. And then like after the situation happened to you, it's like you were afraid of your own shadow. Or maybe you struggled a lot with your emotions. Yeah, 10 of Wands, 5 of Cups. I feel like it left a mark on you where you really struggled with your emotions, and you ended up being this Queen of Swords energy. So I'm getting that if you guys don't have any Scorpio or Capricorn placements in this lifetime, I'm getting like heavy Gemini, Libra, Aquarius as well, and Virgo as well. So I feel like, yeah, it's not showing me like you actually dying in this lifetime. I'm not seeing that. Obviously you had to die eventually, but I'm just seeing this energy of you freeing yourself from the situation. For some of you, you could have actually stolen money from this person and left. I'm hearing for some of you, you just worked very, very, very hard because you caught on to what this person was doing, and then you took what you had and you left. And I feel like you ended up living alone for a good portion of your life here, but you were very protective of your energies. I'm not really sure if you actually settled down after this or if you had any children. I feel like you were single for the rest of your life after this, because I feel like it really hurt you. And I really don't feel like you had any children with this person. I'm getting a strong energy of you being alone for the rest of this lifetime. I feel like you were happy on your own, definitely, but I feel like you had a lot of emotional scarring and trauma that you didn't get to work through. So I'm picking up an energy here of someone who has a lot of emotional trauma, a lot of relationship trauma in this lifetime that they are working through. So I'm getting that for some of you guys, you could be Cancer rising, which would make Capricorn your 7th house placement. And this means that you learn most of your karma through your relationships. And for others of you, you could have like Chiron in the 7th house, Pluto in the 7th house, Mars ruled 7th house, like Aries, Scorpio. So there's definitely an energy here of you carrying heavy relationship karma into this lifetime, where maybe you actually encounter the same themes, and you have to work through these things, because I feel like a lot of you, it's like you might have this mentality of, I'm going to be single forever, I don't trust anybody. But I feel like it really stems from this lifetime, and it stems from certain experiences that you had to go through in this current lifetime in order to remind you of what you went through and to heal that. So yeah, this is really what I'm getting for you guys. Heavy relationship karma here. So I'm gonna end it off here with a card from the Beyond Lemuria deck, and then I'm going to read you the excerpt from the book so we can get you some last words of advice. Yeah, I'm hearing that you let this person dim your light, and to not let it happen again in this lifetime, because like I'm literally seeing someone's transition from like naive girl who loves the world, loves everybody, into someone who's very cynical and very untrusting. I'm picking up your Venus placement, could be in Virgo. I actually have Venus in Virgo. I have Venus in Fall in Virgo. I have a lot of karmic relationship stuff too, but it's a little bit different than this. So I'm also getting that for others of you, you could have Venus in Pisces, Venus in Capricorn, Venus in Scorpio, Venus in Aries. Something about your Venus placement here is very significant, as well as your 7th house. So I would look at that. Maybe you guys have like Venus conjunct Pluto or something, Venus square Pluto, where you have to go through a lot of like turmoil and trauma in your relationships. Ooh, I guess that's your card. Okay, so we have Sacral Chakra, Core of Creation. I'm picking up here a lot of creative energy that could have been repressed for you. Also the energy of maybe wanting to be a mother, because I do feel like in this lifetime you never got to have kids with this person. Maybe this was out of your own protection, definitely. I don't know if you wanted to get yourself caught up in that, but let's go ahead and read what the book says for this card. All right. So sacral chakra, core of creation, feelings, emotional responses, pleasure, sensuality, intimacy, connection, letting go, creativity, sacred sexuality, passion, healthy boundaries, valuing the body. Yes. Yes, I can't believe I didn't even say that. So I was definitely getting an energy here of you guys needing to work on your boundaries, and also maybe in this current lifetime having difficulties with intimacy. Maybe you guys have a very hard time trusting your partners, or you have a very hard time just like letting go and being in the moment is what I'm getting as well. So you're invited to revel in the present moment and feel deeply into your senses. The sensuality of being alive, the breeze on your skin, the scent of damp earth, the feeling of fitting perfectly into the temple you call your body. This card is about diving into the depths of a moment where all your faculties are available for divine creation. Your entire paint kit is present, as no part is left in the past or caught in the future. All of who you are unites in a point of deep experience. This is the ecstatic moment of conception for a project or new life. Let yourself drop into passion, intimacy, and loving connection with whatever you are birthing into the world and with whomever you have chosen to co-create with. So once again, we're getting that 7th house relationships energy. I feel like you guys might have a tendency in this current lifetime to like avoid committing yourself or to avoid falling in love, but I feel like there's something that is very special and necessary about learning through another person that you guys are going to need to work through in this lifetime. So we also have restore. Get in touch with your creativity and embrace your natural expression, however it looks to you. The way you live is an art form, a unique expression of yourself. You can dance through challenge, sing through restriction, and paint your reality. There's a lot about painting here, so some of you guys could be artists, definitely. If you guys don't know, like if you're not a seamstress, if you don't know how to sew or knit or crochet or anything like that, I feel like you are very creative with your hands. So I'm getting like pottery, painting, things like that. You guys are very creative here. And I feel like this past lifetime, it kind of killed that in you because it's like you had to work for a living to the point where you couldn't access your gifts anymore. So there's a theme here about reconnecting to that. And then ironically enough, here we have themes: your relationship with your body, your sensuality, and your sexuality. Healing positions on the body are the lower abdomen, the pelvis area, which is definitely the sacral chakra. And then the color here we have is vibrant orange. So I think in order to help you guys heal this energy, this is also kind of like a vibrant orange here on the bottom. We have red here, but I feel like wearing more reds, yellows, oranges, I feel like this is really going to help you kind of tap into this lost feminine energy, this lost creative energy that was repressed in you for a very long time due to abusive partners or to male dominance, male influence here. So I am going to leave the reading here for you. I hope I was able to connect with you in this reading. Let me know in the comments if I did, and I will see you in my next reading for you. Bye. Hey, pile number 3, if you guys have selected the lapis lazuli crystal, this is going to be your reading. So your first card here that we have is the saboteur. So the light attribute for this archetype is highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. We also have the shadow attribute that says induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Okay. So let's get into this. I feel like you guys definitely could have been someone who didn't see your own potential, maybe someone who tried to sabotage your own opportunities, not necessarily by or on purpose, but I feel like you definitely carried some sort of fear here about your potential or what you could accomplish in life. All right. So what can you tell me about pile number 3's most significant past life, please? What can you tell me about, okay, I just lost it. What can you tell me about their most significant past life? Pile number 3's most significant past life. Thank you. We have authority figure. Okay. Interesting. I hope you guys were not like a destructive ruler or something, but we'll see. What can you tell me about pile number 3's most significant? All right. There we go. We have sudden wealth. We have high honor. You guys were definitely someone who was in a very high position. You could have been a ruler, a king. I'm picking up also like, what do they call them? I mean, I guess a judge can work too, but it's almost like you were like a hierophant type of figure, someone who other people look up to. Maybe you were a priest. Or maybe you were some sort of, no, yeah, before I even say anything, let me pull your last cards. Because I'm not exactly sure if priests were paid that well back then, but we'll see. So last card for you guys. What can you tell me about pile number 3's most significant past life? Who were they in this life, please? Most significant past life. Pile number 3's most significant past life. Thank you. We have the Grand Trine with blessings. Okay. Okay. So I'm kind of getting an energy here of someone who, yeah, 4th house roots is at the bottom of the deck. So I'm getting someone who was actually born into wealth. Someone who was born into power. You could have been the child of a king or a queen who, when they passed or when they handed the rulership over to you, you were able to take this over. So for many of you, I actually do feel that you were a man in this lifetime. So regardless of what your gender is in this lifetime, in this previous lifetime, you were definitely a man. Someone who rose to a lot of power and a lot of fame, had a lot of money. But there's something here about you not necessarily wanting to be born into this family. Maybe you felt that there was a lot on your shoulders. Yeah, highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. I feel like you guys didn't really, you didn't like the role that you played. You didn't like all the attention that was on you. You didn't like the big decisions that you had to make and the fact that everyone depended on you. So there's something here about maybe you sabotaging your position, or maybe you did something to sabotage your position. So we'll take a look at what comes out in the tarot cards. But I definitely feel like you were born into a rich family. You grew up wealthy. You grew up experiencing a lot in life with Grand Trine blessings. It's like when we see a Grand Trine here, a Grand Trine is it's an astrological configuration where there are 3 different points in the chart making aspects to each other that form an exact equilateral triangle. And I believe that these are all, don't quote me on this. I'm an astrologer, I should know this. I believe these are 90-degree configurations, yes. So basically what this means is that you have this innate talent, or you have this innate skill, or you're born into something. You naturally have something within you. So it's like you guys were already destined to be something big, to have a lot of money, to be in high honor, but I feel like you guys didn't appreciate it, or there was something else that you wanted. So it's very different from the other 2 piles. The other 2 piles, they were definitely more on the poverty side of life. So let's take a look at your tarot cards because I want to see what you guys did here. There's something about this huge position of power that you guys did not like. So I feel like in this current lifetime, you could shy away from the spotlight. You could have like South Node Aquarius, South Node Capricorn, South Node Leo actually as well, for whatever reason I'm getting. Some of you might actually have a Grand Trine in your chart. Yeah, if you see anything in your chart that looks like this is a Grand Trine. And it's going to be like a huge triangle right in the middle of your chart somewhere. I actually have a Grand Trine too. Okay, so what can you tell me about pile 3's most significant past life here? What is this and what happened? 8 of Cups, yeah, exactly. So hold on, before I say anything, 1, I want to make sure you guys can see this, and 2, I want to get all of your cards out. Okay, there we go. Okay, so what can you tell me about pile 3's most significant past life? Perfect. 3 of Cups. Yep, generational wealth. And then we have the Emperor. Yep, definitely. You guys were a king. You guys were a ruler. Look at that. We have the Hierophant that I was just talking about. So you guys were very much venerated for the position that you carried. I feel like you were definitely born into this. Your family was very wealthy. I feel like there were many people around you who admired your family. And you were definitely some sort of king here. You ruled over some sort of town, or you were an emperor of some sort, I'm getting as well. Definitely with the emperor, so literally an emperor. But with this 8 of Cups showing up under the authority figure, I feel like maybe you guys, maybe you were not, given the fact that you did not appreciate this position in life, I feel like you guys could have been someone who was very unconventional, or maybe you saw things very differently. Maybe back then in this past lifetime you were very Aquarian, so that's kind of giving me the fact that you guys may have either South Node Leo or South Node Aquarius in this lifetime, where it's like you come from royalty, or you come from this perspective of seeing things very differently than other people. For some of you, you could have actually sabotaged your rule in the sense that you did like bad things in the sense so you guys could get out of it, or like so you could be like, I don't know what they call it when you, I don't know, they fire you from your throne, or like they fire you as position as emperor or something, they exile you, maybe something like that happened. Because I'm getting this energy here of like you purposely maybe possibly sabotaging your position because you were not happy. Clarify the Eight of Cups. Ten of Swords, Knight of Wands, yeah. Ten of Swords, Knight of Wands. For some of you, you guys could have literally been exiled to another country. Yeah, I can't make this up. Eight of Wands, Knight of Cups. You guys were exiled to another country here, or maybe you did this on your own by choice, like you voluntarily left. But I feel like you caused some sort of destruction here, where I'm definitely getting someone who is not responsible. So it's like someone who is either very unconventional as a ruler or very irresponsible, like on purpose. It's like you maybe forgot to do things, or you forgot to appoint your knights or something. You forgot to tell people like the right things to do, or maybe you told people the wrong things. And people started to not trust you, not necessarily dislike you, but I feel like they didn't trust your rule because maybe you were very carefree. You didn't care for rules. You didn't care for the position that you had. So it's like you just didn't care. And then with the Eight of Wands here, it's like, yeah, you either voluntarily left, or you did things to the point where you were knocked down from your throne and kicked out elsewhere. So I'm going to put this here. What else happened here with the Knight of Wands, Eight of Wands? Where did this person go? Where did pile 3 go? Judgment. And we have the Five of Swords. Interesting. And we have Six of Swords here. I'm hearing like a vagabond type of energy. So maybe you spent the rest of your life traveling. You spent the rest of your life roaming around looking for a place to stay. But I feel like you were very, yeah. So Devil, Six of Swords. It's like maybe you never really settled down anywhere. Maybe you were always on the go. Maybe you didn't really want people to know who you truly were, so you hid your identity with the Five of Swords. This is definitely giving me an energy of someone who, it's like instead of having this wealthy lifestyle or this lifestyle where you had to carry so much responsibility, you wanted to be free. You wanted to just go off and do your own thing. And I feel like that's what you spent the rest of your life doing, honestly. I feel like you traveled a lot. I feel like you spent a lot of time overseas. I see a lot of like travel back and forth in ships or boats. Yeah. So how did this lifetime end for my pile number 3s? How did this lifetime end? Six of Swords, Two of Pentacles, and we have the Devil here. Devil, Empress. Okay. So for some of you, you actually could have found someone that you I don't want to say married, but maybe you ended up having like some sort of intimate relations with this person, this Devil, Empress. I feel like you were on your search for some sort of deep, meaningful type of love. I'm just getting this energy of like you, I don't know why it's not really being specific here. I feel like for some of you, you could have spent the rest of your life with this Empress. So a person that you may have fallen in love with, definitely had intimate relations with. Six of Swords, Two of Pentacles. This is just showing me like maybe you took what you had left from, let's say, like this wealth that you had, or this inheritance that you had for being an emperor or ruler, and like you kind of just spent the rest of your days just traveling. You spent the rest of your days making do with what you have, and I feel like you were happy with that. Honestly, that's kind of what it's showing me. Clarify the Two of Pentacles. Ooh, we have the Devil again. We have the World, yep. And we have the Eight of Pentacles, yeah, definitely. So Empress is again showing me that you spent the rest of your life just doing your own thing. You traveled, maybe you worked on some sort of skills that you had wanted to learn. You spent a lot of time studying. Maybe you wanted to live like a normal life, like a commoner's type of life back in the day. I'm not sure what time this was, or what, yeah, like what time in history this was. But I feel like you didn't want all like the razzle dazzle of what you were born into. I feel like you were sick of it because you lived in it your whole life. So then you kind of just escaped. You were a vagabond. You traveled from place to place. I don't really feel like you had a specific home in one area of life. I feel like you just traveled a lot. And I feel like you met someone along the way, definitely had some sort of intimate relations with this person. It's not really showing me marriage, but I do feel that you had a connection with someone that you did love. You had feelings for them, yes. You were possibly even very, not obsessed, but it feels like a very carnal connection where there's like a lot of sexual intimacy and things like that. And the fact that they came out as the Empress, I don't think it's still, oh, it is. Yeah. So the fact that they came out as the Empress, they could have definitely also been someone who escaped some sort of rule that they were under, or someone who escaped a very similar lifestyle than you. And it's like the both of you guys just went off and did your own thing. And I feel like you lived a very simple life for the rest of your life. It's not really showing me how it ended, but I feel like you were very satisfied with the simplicity of how your life progressed. So this might actually be one of like the most calming piles of the whole reading, honestly. Very interesting. Very, very interesting. Yeah, so I'm being called to end that portion there. I'm going to go ahead and pull you guys a oracle card from the Beyond Lemuria deck to get some final words of advice here, or any other information that we might know or might have to know. I feel like, yeah, so going back to this current lifetime, I feel like you guys have a tendency to just shy away from the spotlight. It's like you don't like to be seen. You don't want people all up in your space. You don't like attention, or like overly amounts of attention. There's something about being uncomfortable with being seen, or being uncomfortable with having good things. Maybe you feel that you don't deserve good things, or that you don't deserve abundance. And it's because that you already experienced it in a past life. So this would definitely be something up to you. Something that you have to decide for yourself. It's like, do I want more for myself? Do I want to be seen? Do I want to pursue a life where I'm very successful? Or do I just want to live a simple life? And that's definitely going to be up to you. So pile number 3. Any last messages here for pile number 3? Thank you. We have communication and co-creation. So I am definitely getting the energy here that you might be meant to work alongside other people, but let's take a look. I'm going to read the excerpt from the book for you guys. All right, so we have number 21. Here we go. Okay. So communication, co-creation, nonverbal communication, love language, telepathy, unique ways of communication, light language, multidimensional information, community coexistence, relationships, meeting our higher selves, really seeing someone, and deeper listening. Okay, so there's definitely something here about some sort of psychic powers that maybe you guys have, in the sense of telepathy. Light language is also present here, so I do feel that some of you could be descended from interdimensional beings, or maybe you have a connection to aliens or interdimensional beings. But I really, really feel like you guys, I'm getting strong Aquarius energy. I feel like you guys were so in tune with the universe that you had like your own vision of how you wanted to do things in this past lifetime. But it's like there was so much conservatism and so much rule and so much expectation placed on you because of who you were as a person, that you couldn't express yourself in this way. So maybe you were someone who was very psychic, or who had a very unique way of approaching life, and you were forced to swallow that, and like now you want to open that back up again. So yeah, let's get back to this. We normally think of information as something that can be written or spoken, but if something is multidimensional, it is almost impossible to share it with words. I feel I have quite a lot of this information in my field now, and yet my intelligence cannot fathom it. Metaphor or song may hint at its vastness, but it is more like a reminder or catalyst that encourages something to stir inside the listener. Art is one way I have sought to share this information. Whatever language you speak, the emotion and message of art and music can be understood. In my healing work, where I feel the energy that comes through hands, there is a sense that my soul and that of the client are in deep conversation. I often feel that I am much more competent at conversation in these realms. My synesthesia allows me to navigate this information in real time rather than having to slow down and translate it into words that feel constricting and dull compared to the vast yet simple nature of what I am looking to express. This is why I paint. A lot of the work I do is in the unseen realm, but I understand part of my role is to bridge these realities and inspire a wider understanding of what is possible. Yeah, so you guys definitely have some sort of gift here, whether it be clairvoyance, clairsentience, clairalience, or maybe you like maybe you're very powerful and you want to get certified in Reiki. Maybe you guys are Reiki practitioners, or you do some sort of like what is it? Hypnotherapy here. There's something about you guys being very psychic, or just having this forward thinking and unique understanding of human nature. But let's continue here. So you may notice unusual looking codes in many of my paintings. I feel like this is about the author here, but it might be very significant to your own personal journey. I have experienced many visual downloads of luminescent coding that can be simple figures or complex and large enough to step into for an activation or healing transmission. The download experience is extremely blissful, visual, and with a sense of fathoming the unfathomable. When I return to my normal state of being, the information no longer makes sense. People often ask about the codes in my paintings. I ask them to imagine a whole library's worth of information imbued in a single letter, and extending that to encompass a whole sentence. The codes can open us all to the multidimensional worlds that we share. They are portals to the edges of our conceivable realities. I have come to understand that codes are light language, and I have reveled in meeting other visionary artists who have painted almost identical light codes. So I'm getting an energy here of you guys. Actually, you might be very fluent in multiple languages, or maybe you want to pursue multiple languages. I feel like you guys have a knack for like writing music. Or maybe you're very good at math is what I'm getting, like maybe calculus, physics, or you want to learn multiple languages. You guys are very smart in a very unique way. It's almost like you just get these downloads of very complex information that other people don't understand. And I feel like listening to maybe some sort of light language music or some sort of meditation music that stems from these realms is going to help you get back in tune with what you're supposed to do in this lifetime. So as we evolve our conscious awareness, we start to pick up on information such as what those around us are about to say or that which the universe is trying to tell us. How are you communicating beyond words? Perhaps you are being misunderstood because there is a dissonance between your words, actions, and behavior and what you mean to communicate. Yeah, so we get that saboteur energy again. It's like you present yourself in one way or people see you as one way, but it's like what you mean to do and what you want to do is completely different. Very interesting. So where was I? Yeah, words are like spells, so be conscious of what you say as you may be verbally sabotaging your intended meeting. Also be reminded that words can mean different things to different people. Something may be getting lost in translation. An issue may be cleared through improved communication. Listen carefully to what someone has to say without interruption. Yes, so I'm getting a message here that in this past lifetime, you guys were probably very blunt, very abrasive with your words, and I feel like you might carry that same tendency. In this current lifetime, I feel like you guys may be Pisces, Aries, Gemini, Leo. So there's something here about you guys having to learn how to effectively communicate with people. Let's see here. Furthermore, it may feel scary to share vulnerable truths, but this may be the only way forward. This card also encourages greater exploration in the realms of telepathy, healing, and the arts, such as poetry, painting, and music, where there is collective communication beyond the mind. Yeah. So you guys, it's like you don't communicate the best when it comes to the human world. You're very blunt, you're very straightforward. Maybe you have a hard time relating to people. But when it comes to like physics, math, science, or other languages, or like learning about like sociology or humanity as a whole, it's like you speak a completely different language. Or maybe you do have a talent for writing music as well, or for art or for poetry. And I feel like there's some sort of untapped potential that you guys have here that could come from this past lifetime that you guys haven't channeled. And I feel like this is your sign to get to know yourself a little bit better and maybe tap into these talents that you have, because I feel like you have a very unique way of viewing the world that people will very much appreciate. And I feel like this is going to help you to learn to become a better communicator in general. So I'm going to leave it here for you. I hope I was able to connect with you in this reading. Please let me know in the comments if I did, and I will see you in my next reading for you. Bye.